Welcome to TF Customs Shaving Brushes Workshop, the next live stream. Razor, I see you're first in again, mate. You're on the ball. You're on the ball, mate. I've got some good things to show the Savo, hopefully, in tonight's stream. I'm going to turn this blank here. This was one that several streams ago I done a few castings, and this one here was one that when I poured it, it was actually starting to gel, and I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. So we put it in the pot anyway, put it under pressure, and then what I got out was this blank. Now it does have a few holes and crevices and that here and there in it, but I'm going to try and turn it from this end and just see if I can get a little brush at it. If we don't, we don't. It's no big deal. The blank will just get cut up into bits, and I can mix it in with another casting at some stage and make another brush out of it. So yeah, so I'm just going to turn it and see where it goes. But I've got a couple of other things that I want to show in the stream, so I'll give it a few minutes just to see if we get a few more numbers in. We've got, according to that, 3 in there now. So we'll give it another couple of minutes, and then I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've been playing with. And a couple of these things will be interesting to you, Razor, because it will impact on that other brush when I remake that other brush for you. So I'm going to show you. I think I've had a couple of successes, but I won't know until I take it to the next step. But so far so good. It's actually looking quite good and quite promising with the stabilising. So I've done some stabilising today. G'day Thomas, how are you, buddy? Welcome to the live, mate. Yeah, so coming back to it, what I've done today was I put some time aside today. I had the 2 pups in here keeping me company. We've got 2 little staffies, a male and a female, brother and sister, and they're about 6 months old now, so they're just starting to come good now. They're starting to behave themselves and take a telling. But anyway, look, I've done some stabilising. Well, actually, I mentioned it in the previous stream that I was doing some stabilising. I think I showed you the stabilising chamber, the stainless steel tub that had a couple of pieces of the burl in it. So they've been in that resin for probably a bit over a week now, and they've been on and off vacuum as well, and they've been kept with an anti-float plate to keep them submerged, so they can't take on any air, they can only take on resin. So I decided that today I was going to take them out of the pressure pot, the vacuum chamber, and I was going to put them in the oven. So I've done that, put them in the oven, and basically baked them at about 190 degrees for about 45-50 minutes, and they've come out and they're quite rock solid. So I'm going to show you them. I also had time to make up a couple of moulds. So I've made a real heavy duty HDPE mould for doing some special castings, and I also made up another one of those corflute, the red corflute moulds, and I've put a piece of burl in that, which is one of the ones that I one of the ones that I stabilised today, and I've put that in with resin. So I'm going to see how that bonds basically the resin directly to the wood, and then if that turns out okay and it holds up okay, then I'm probably going to go down the path of doing another chameleon with a stabilised burl this time, with a chameleon in the black on it, and then cast it. So we're getting closer, mate, we're getting closer. Guilty as charged. Yeah, so look at, I mean, it kept me busy on and off today, just with the things that I was doing, because you've got to keep an eye on everything. You can't just sort of walk away and leave it, you know, you've got to keep an eye on it. So, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start turning this handle and see if we can make a handle out of it. Like I said, you can see there, let me just show you on camera 3. So if I cut to camera 3, you can see the big holes and crevices in here, so I'm hoping that I can part it off just above that. But even this section in here is hollow as well, so, and I don't know what I'm going to get. There's a couple of hollow bits there as well. I don't know what I'm going to get when I turn it, so it'll just be a suck and see. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like I said, I'll cut it up and use it for something else down the track. But the blank itself might be interesting if it holds up okay, because there was quite a bit of clear put in this one as well, if I remember rightly. So I can see signs of, you know, fairly deep clear sections in it. So I'm hoping that it will have some nice effect in it, you know. So anyway, yeah, Thomas, the cord flute is good, mate. I mean, I've only just started to use it, and I'm just using the stuff from Bunnings, a couple of dollars a sheet for a 600 by 600 piece. It's a couple of bucks a sheet, and you can get quite a few moulds out of it, and you just throw them in the bin when you finish with them, you know, rather than having to clean up and do all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hopefully it'll be good. Yeah, so the sound's all good. I've been playing around with the sound on the mixer again today, so I'm hoping that it's all good. I think what happened in the last stream, for the last 10-15 minutes of the stream, I think what happened was the music stopped playing in the media player that I'm feeding into the mixer, and I think also the output on my Surface Pro was a little bit crackly when you moved. If you touched the cord or if you moved the cord, it was a little bit crackly and it was humming and buzzing and all sorts of horrible noises. So I've gone and got another audio lead, and since I've put this audio lead in, I'm not having any of that issue. I also sprayed it with some of that, I forget what it's called now, isopropylene or something like that. It's like an electrical cleaner, like an alcohol. So I sprayed that around the socket, sprayed the plug, and now it's working perfectly and no problems at all. So hopefully that's fixed that issue and we shouldn't have that issue anymore. Grey Dog, how are you, buddy? Good morning over your neck of the woods, and good night in our neck of the woods, mate. Good to see you back again, buddy. Yeah, Tom, no problems, mate. You gotta go. You just do what you want to do, and yeah, we'll be here for a couple of hours. So drop back whenever you want, mate. You'll get to see whether this has been a success or not. I do have a couple of interesting casts that I've done today, though. I'm hoping that I can pull them out the pressure pot near the end of the stream. And I'm hoping that they've turned out the way I want them to turn out. They should be quite nice. They'll be really nice, interesting blanks. So that'll be something to see later on in the live. So anyway, for now, I'm just going to get cracking, guys. I'm going to fire up the lathe, and we're going to try and see if we can turn the handle out of this shunky blank with bits and pieces missing out everywhere. Hopefully it's going to stay in the chuck for me, and hopefully we can make a brush at it, but time will tell. So all good. So anyway, just have a drink of my coffee and we'll fire up the lathe and we'll get started, boys, eh? How's your days been anyway? How's your day been, guys? Alright? Razor, you had a good day, mate? Grey Dog's just about to start his day, so he's off to a good start. Anyway, I'm going to fire up the lathe, guys, and we'll get started, eh? So I'm just going to do the same sort of shape that I normally do. I quite like that shape. And looking at the blank, if I do have any issues there, I'm hoping that that shape will allow me to take those pieces out. So remember if this was polyester or epoxy now that I used on this blank and the other blank that I've got sitting there. I'll soon know when I start cutting into it properly, because if it's hard and brittle it'll be polyester. That's good, mate. Cruisy day. They're the ones we like, eh? Cruisy days. It's still got a bit to go yet, so we'll keep going in with that one, but I'm just going to be nice and gentle because I don't want it coming out. I've got a funny feeling this, well, it's hard to tell yet. I'm not sure if it's epoxy or if it's polyester. I think it might be epoxy, but it took longer to go harder. Yeah, it's definitely epoxy because it wouldn't come off like that if it was polyester. But it's obviously had time to go harder because it's been sitting for a while, this one. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera there. Yeah, so that's fairly clear there now, so I'm happy with that. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, that'll do me, I think. Okay, now I'm going to put a 26mm tuxedo in this one. So I'm going to drill it out with a 28. And I'll change use to camera 2 so that you can see it being drilled. And I'll slow the lathe down a bit for the drilling. Set it back on 0. I'm going to go on about 15mm. I'm getting a strong smell off this, so I don't know what the blank's like on the inside actually. Yeah, there's a few, it looks like there's a few cracks and stuff in there. I don't know if this is actually going to hold together, so this may actually end up being a disaster. But I'll keep going until something fails, or till we get to a point where we think there's nothing we can do with this. Yeah, I think we might have pockets in it where the resin, where we've got air pockets where the resin hasn't actually gone together under pressure because it was starting to go off in the cup. So look, I'll I'll start shaping it a little bit, but I think this one might end up being a disaster, so we'll have to take it as it comes, I guess. But I do, like I said, I do have a couple of nice blanks, hopefully, that will come out of the pressure pot all going well. Like I've got a splinter or something in my hand, but I haven't been able to find it. Yeah, it's always nice hitting Friday, isn't it? The weekend is here. Yeah, it's definitely epoxy, I can tell by the streamers. But it's gone a lot harder than the previous ones I've turned because I've turned those quicker. This one's been sitting for a lot longer, so it's actually it's had more time to cure and go harder. And it still turns okay. Yeah, it just gives you a few different angles to view the work at. I think I've got them in better views now, and having that little picture-in-picture is also quite good, because I just leave that on the main shot, so you know I can have a chat with you if I want to have a chat with you. So you can see what I'm doing, but at the same token you've got the main picture which is capturing what I'm doing, what I'm working on. So yeah, I think the camera setup is pretty good now. I still would like to replace the two GoPros, but because I think I get a better picture, like the main picture which is on this camera that I'm pointing to now. That's the main picture. That's on a Sony Handycam, and it gives quite a good picture, whereas the other two are a little bit darker, and you get that sort of fisheye, a little bit of that fisheye look, especially on this one that we're viewing on now. You get that sort of fisheye look, which you don't get with the Handycams. So I'd like to eventually change the two GoPros out. I think the GoPros are a little bit darker as well. They don't seem to work as well in the low. Well, I wouldn't say it's low light because I've got plenty of studio lighting around, but they don't seem to work as well, is what I'm saying. Okay. Alright, so we've got past that part, and we'll stop and have a bit of a look now. So we'll go to camera 3 for that. So we haven't, there's a little tiny little hole there. Like I said guys, we could end up doing all this work for nothing with this blank, because it could just fail at the last minute. But look, just let's hope that we can get something out of it. But if not, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to try and take a little bit more out of that so that we can get rid of that little. I can hear it there as well when I'm turning. There it's there. Yep, you can hear it just as it comes around. But it's getting fainter now, so we're getting there. Just a little bit more, I think. And the other thing I can do is if it gets too, if I can't get it out, I can always fill it with a little bit of CA, but it's almost there now, so I'm going to keep going with that. Almost there. I still hear it a little bit, so take a little bit more. Just very, very slightly. I think there might still be a little, tiny little bit. Yeah, right there. Right there. You see it in the camera? That little indentation there needs to come out. Right, I think we just got it there. I think that's it gone now. I just need to clean up right in there a little bit. And then we'll just clean there again. Just a touch, like that. Just a little touch there. Take care of that. Yep, so that's gone. So that's good, hopefully. It's just whether we've got any in here. There's a few bad air pockets down here, as you can see. It's whether we've got anything in here when we start to hollow, but we'll soon find out, I guess. So we'll set up now for the carbide. Ben, how are you, buddy? Welcome back. Yeah, so let's get the carbide in there now and see what mess we can make with that. Let's hope the blank stays together for us. Let me clear that camera for you guys. The resin, the streamers want to stick to everything, aye. So have you had a shave with that new brush yet, Ben? Excellent. Yes, it turned out quite nice, the old Phantom Nebula. And it's a nice shape too. I like the shape of that, and the handle shape is really comfortable in the hand. And like I said, I always make my brushes a little bit longer than a lot of other people as well. And I think it does give you that bit more comfort in the hand when you hold the brush in the hand. So it works for me anyway, and it just, like I said, it just makes it feel a lot more comfortable. Yeah, so we've got a few tips in this here, so we're just going to have to see what we can do with this, and just hope that there's nothing major inside. If there's any holes or cracks major inside, or you know, out close to the edge where we need the extra width in the blank, then we could have an issue in finishing this. But so far so good, so we'll keep going with it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to pulling those. Other castings out of the pressure pot that I've got sitting in the pressure pot. I think they're going to be really nice. Hopefully, if they've turned out and the moulds have held up okay, I think they're going to be a couple of really nice castings actually. So I'm really looking forward to showing you them later on in the stream. I'll show you what I've been doing with stabilising as well. So I'll show you the difference between a stabilised piece and a normal piece, so you can see them. You'll see the difference. I can feel the difference as well, in the fact that the stabilised resin one is a lot heavier now because it's taken on the resin. So you can hear the noise in the tool when the tool's cutting. You can hear it against the material when you've got those little chips and chunky bits that and you can hear it when we get to the edge of the blank as well, where it's still out around slightly. Because although these are cast in round moulds, but they're not perfectly round when they come out. You've still got a little bit of a off-centre in them. So far so good. There is a couple of holes here though, and this one looks quite deep here. So we'll keep going. Worst case scenario, I might be able to fill that little hole with some CI, but we'll see how we go with it. Once we get to the final part, that's when we'll have to make a decision as to yay or nay, whether it's going to be okay. Or I'm just going to take a little bit off that ring now, just to flatten that out and get it into round. So that's us round now. I'm just going to take I like it when that edge drops down. I think it makes the top of the handle look better. Like that. So we'll leave that there. Now we'll come back and we'll do a bit more shaping. I'm thinking I'm probably thin enough there now at that point. So I'm thinking I'll work with the rest of the handle now and just see what sort of shape we can get in the bottom there, just to round everything off just nicely now. I can hear there's a couple of little cavities or something that I'm hitting in a point there, but I may have just got it out. If this turns out, this is going to be a stunning brush actually, a stunning handle. I'm liking the mix of clear that's in it, and that's really going to pop once there is a little hole there though, and we've got a couple of little chips here, so I'm going to have to work with them a little bit. But I can, because I've taken the top section down more than I would normally, it's made the top section a bit smaller in size, so I can make this ring a bit smaller in size. So if I do have to take a little bit more material off here, it's still going to be larger than what the top is, and that's how I like my brushes to be in shape. I like the bottom, the handle to be slightly wider than the top, or the same, but certainly not bigger in the top than in the bottom. It just doesn't look right when you do that. So anyway, we'll keep going. We're not out of trouble yet, because the bottom section where those other cavities are, that's the section that's probably going to give us the most trouble, I think. So we're not out of the woods yet. So I'm just refining that rim up there now, just refining that shape a little bit. You can hear that when I get to the bottom there, you can hear how crunchy it is. That's because we're out around and there's a few cavities there. Okay, it's going to come in there now and just touch that ring up again. Yeah, it's about continually trying new things. You know, you've got to keep doing new things. You've got to keep experimenting with the resins. You've got to keep experimenting with the colours, the different ways you pour it, the different mixes that you make. It really is. It's all trial and error, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like this one here, I was expecting to. I am, I should say, expecting to have troubles with this one turning out, and it was only because I sort of screwed up on the resin mix a little bit and left it too long before I started to pour it. I'd be really pleased if I can get a handle out of it, even if it means a little bit of fix up here and there, because once it's fixed up, you would never even know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put my parting mark in the bottom of this one, just to give me something to work to on the bottom. Like I said, this bottom section is the section I'm expecting to give me the most trouble, because the cavities on the side of the blank here are quite deep, and it may mean that I've got to bring the handle in too far, but you know, I'll see what I can do there. There's a couple of things I can probably try to try and maximise success, you know. It's definitely much harder than what it usually is, the epoxy. So obviously the fact that it's been sitting around for a week or two has made it go even harder. So it's let it cure properly. Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of detail on the bottom here. So we've got a hollow section here, as you can see, and it's quite deep. So to try and maximise that, so that I don't have to make this any smaller in diameter here, I'm actually going to V that bottom back in that way, and then I'm going to try and round it from there. So it will maximise the material that I've got on the blank, and hopefully give me enough that I can keep the base fairly wide as far as diameter is concerned. So nice and gently, because I don't want to do anything too severe here. It's not too bad. Shape it's still looking okay, so I just want to persevere with that now. What I'm trying to do is trying to get that clunky bit away here. So you can see there's the chips now, so there's chips here, there's chips there, and the rest of it's just out around. We've actually got a little bit of a cavity there as well, where there's a bit of a crack in there, so that'll need to be filled. I was hoping we weren't going to get any of that, but I'll continue and see how we go. It may end up being a reject handle, yeah, but we'll see. Let's see how we're going. Let's have a look. Yes, we've got a definite little crack in there. You can see that on the camera there, that little crack in the bottom, or the little hollow pocket of air or whatever. We've still got a little bit of a chip here, so we're still going to have to take that down, and there's a couple of little chips there that I'm going to have to try and take out as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll go back to the carbide now, and I'll just come in nice and gently with the carbide and see if we can just round that a little bit. A little bit of refinement on that shape there. And I'm just now slowly going to bring that round so I can try and round that edge over. Okay, so we've still got a little bit of chipping here that we need to try and take out. I may still need to make this a little bit narrower up here yet, just to make it keep the proportions right, because I'm starting to lose more material off there now because of that chipping. Not a lot, but feel it. You can feel it and hear it. Yeah, it's got a lot of clear in it, this one, so that dark area that you can see there, that's all transparent. So you're actually going to be looking inside the brush, inside the handle. Same round here, same up round here. And I managed to get rid, oh no, there it is there. There's still a tiny little hole there, so that's going to have to be filled. And that cavity on the bottom here will need to be filled as well. But I'm hoping that they'll fill up okay. I'll just have a drink of my coffee. Yeah, it's I think it's actually, to me it doesn't look like wood. It might do in the camera with the way it is at the moment, but I think once it's polished up and I hold it up to the camera, I think you'll see it totally differently. I'm actually hoping that I can salvage this, because it's going to make an absolutely beautiful looking handle, to be honest. Very unusual. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off the top now to thin it down a bit. Just give this a touch up with a diamond card, guys, so just to put another sharp edge on it. Doesn't take much. Should be all it needs. There. Okay, let's have a look, eh? So there's a tiny little chip there, which I should be able to take out, I think. We've got a tiny little pinhole there, which I'll be able to fill. And then we've got that cavity there which we'll need to fill, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that on the light, or we'll have a crack, we'll see how we go, eh? So, got some CA here, and I'll get some activator, just to speed the process up. So I'll find that little hole, I'm just going to let that CA work its way into that hole. And I might even give it a helping hand with a paper towel. It's sometimes hard to get the CA to go into a hole because obviously you trap air in the hole, and if there's air in there it won't let the CA go into the hole, so you've got to sometimes just work it a little bit till you get the hole filled up. That hole's not a very big hole, so you can see just pushing the tip of the cocktail stick into the hole there, just to make sure we've got the CA right down in the hole. And then I'm just going to stick that blob on top and just keep working that back up on the hole. I know the hole's filled now, so what I can do as well is I can actually hit that with the activator now, and that'll seal that up. And hopefully we'll be able to sand that out now, because it'll be kind of lumpy around there. This one here, I don't know, I might have to do that one. I don't know if I'm going to get the CA down into that slot without making a mess everywhere. So what I'll do, actually I'll put my glue board up. Might move things around here. I've got to fix that before I can go too much further. So what I'll do is I'll get that under repair, and then I might show you the stabilised blanks that I've done whilst this is underway. So this will just prevent my bedways from getting CA all over it. So I'm just going to trickle some CA into this slot here now. And fill that up. Yeah, see you, Ben. No worries, mate. We'll catch you later, right? Catch you another night, mate. So all I'm trying to do here now is just build that up, just fill that crack up and just keep building it up till it's totally full. And if anything, I want it slightly raised so that I can turn it back down again and end up at my final shape without having to take too much more material off it. So that's what my goal is at the moment. And I think we're getting there. Anyway, let me just give everything a blow down here. I like to try and keep all the electronic stuff clean. I think we're almost there with that. I'm just going to rub a little bit more on just to try and make sure we've got the crack above the surface. And then we'll gently go back in and shape it. And hopefully we can salvage it. Okay, so I'll just put this away again for now. And I shall bring this in. Now what I've got to be careful of is that I don't spin this up too quick, or we're going to throw CA off it everywhere. So we'll give it a little tick. It should go off pretty quickly with that activator. Anyway, let me show you these two blanks that I've got in my hand here. So we'll go back to camera 1 and I'll cut straight to camera 1. Actually, we might be better on camera 2, I think. Let's go to camera 2. So, this one here is a piece of burl. Now this is the same burl that we used on your chameleon hybrid handle. So it's a piece from that same burl. And as you can see, there's the natural edge on it. And then we can see the colour of the grain through there. So we've got the light and the dark. And we can see we've got the nice grain pattern there, right? Now this one, you can see is a lot darker. This one has actually been stabilised with resin and it's a lot heavier. There's the surface. So as you can see, it's a lot darker than the original piece. Okay, then if I show you the grain on the end, because these pieces are very, very similar. So there's the grain on the end, so you can see how light this one is, how dark this one is, and how light this one is. So this one's been sitting in the stabilising resin for well over a week now, and it's been under vacuum several times. It was dried in the oven before it went into the resin. Then it sat in the resin for over a week, and off and on vacuum just to make sure that the air was all taken out of it. It was left soaked in the resin without the surface coming above the resin, so the resin sat, you know, about an inch or so higher than the timber, and it's got an anti-float plate on it, so it keeps it submerged all the time, so that no air gets back into the wood, that gets, because the air's all sucked out with the vacuum. And you can see just little traces of the resin along the edge here where it's gone hard. That was then baked in the oven at about 190 degrees or such, and it was about 45-50 minutes it was in the oven, and that's what actually lets the resin cure and go hard. So hopefully the timber is very, very stabilised. Now even you can see there's a crack in there, but that crack shouldn't go in too far because the resin will have stabilised it inside and solidified it, holds it together. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go back to the black acrylic and the chameleon powder on that, on the natural edge, and then I'm going to cast that in a mould as well and see how it turns out. Hopefully we'll get a better bond this time. But I'm also thinking that what I might do as well is I might move away from having burl and acrylic at the top of the handle. What I might do is try and get more acrylic at the top and more burl to the bottom of the handle. And that way, because the resin is much, much stronger than the timber is, although this is stabilised now, it should be as strong as resin. So in the case of that, this one, we may be able to put wood and resin in the top of the handle, and hopefully it will bond and won't separate. But it's a risk again if I go that way. Whereas if I go the other way and have timber to the bottom part of the handle, so that where the knot sits is sitting in resin, then it's going to be a lot stronger and a lot more secure. So we won't have that separation happening. So I've got a couple of things to try, but I'm working on it, and hopefully we'll get to see some results in another week or two anyway, with the different tests that I'm doing, and seeing what works and what's not going to work, and hopefully then I can move forward with these hybrids, because I really do like the hybrids and I like that chameleon effect. So I'm hoping I can move on with that. So yeah, so there you go. I mean, this one is definitely a lot heavier than this one, even although they're roughly the same sort of size in width and in height, and the other end, there's not much difference in them. As you can see there's not much difference at all. They're the same length, the same width, the same thickness type setup. So, but this one is definitely a lot heavier than that one. And when you put that on there, you can hear it's a little bit. Whereas this one's, it sounds like an acrylic block being dropped on the metal as opposed to this one. So hopefully, so that's the stabilising. The other stabilised blank that I had in with this one at the same time, so for the same period, same time, same resin, same baking, same drying, it's actually in one of the, it's in the pressure pot now, so that's one of the ones I'm hoping to be able to pull out near the end of the stream. So we'll see, hopefully, all going well, we can pull them out, and I should be able to let you see them. Alright. So, stabilising burl trialling continues. Alright, now I'm going to try and go in now and see if we can clean this up a little bit, very gently and very carefully. So let's see how we go with this now. So just very, very gently, because it will have lumpy bits on it, as you can hear there. And I've just got to take them down very, very gently before we get it back to the handle where we were originally. little bit lumpy, and I can feel where the resins that the CA's actually ran. But we'll get to that. The main thing is, as long as the chip's gone, and as long as we've got that crevice filled. So we've got a little bit of CA down in here. Yeah, we've still got a little bit to do on that chip yet. The bottom looks okay, but we've got a little bit to do here yet, so that's fine, we'll keep going with that. No, there's no need to feel bad about it, mate. It's all about me getting it right so that I know I can do more and not have the same issues. I don't want to have issues with my brushes, so it's I'm appreciating you giving me the time to rectify it. So there's no need for you to feel sorry, mate. Not at all. Besides, it gives me something to do, mate. Gives me something to do. Let's see how that's looking. We may have to go through that again and give it just a little bit more, but that other one's completely gone now. I think that's where it was there, but once we sand that should disappear. So we've just got to work on this one now, which is the biggest one, the worst one, but hopefully we'll get there. And if I can get that spray on it quick enough, we'll keep it as a blob. And we'll get it to go hard. Which is what I think it's done there now. Okay. So I'm going to go in and clean that hollow up in the inside with a parting tool. In the bottom there. We'll have to lift the tool rest. Try and clean up that cavity. CA now, nice and gently again. See what we've got there now. Yeah, we're there. We've done it. So what I've got to do now is move that out the way. We can move this out the way now. We'll try the knot in there. Oh. Try the knot in there, that doesn't look too bad. We'll go to camera 3. There you can see it there now. So we've got a little bit of CA on here that we need to sand off. That's where we filled that other cavity. But once we sand that, that'll disappear into the handle. And yeah, I think I'm liking that actually. I think I'm liking that. So we'll get on with a little bit of sanding now. Okay. Because it's got so much clear in it, I think it's actually going to look pretty wicked once it's polished up. Just working on getting that CA glue away from that section of the handle there where it ran down the handle. May actually pay me just to go in with the tool again and give it a light nick with the tool. It's there, I think. Is that another little cavity, I think? Is it? I think it is. Oh no, it's in the handle, I think. Well, it was another cavity, but it's not. So I'll keep going with the sanding. Definitely feeling something there though. I don't think it's CA. Let's see what we end up with, eh? Grey Dog's very quiet tonight. If you're still in there, mate. Or I should say your morning, not tonight. Still there. I don't know if I mentioned it when you were in, if you were in earlier when I mentioned in the stream, but I've got a couple of blanks that I'm hoping to take out of the pressure pot once I finish this this handle, and I think they're going to be, if they've turned out, there should be a couple of really nice interesting blanks actually. Temperature's a bit down here again today, so I'm hoping that the resin will still cured okay in the short time, or the shorter time frame, but we'll soon find out. Yep. So it's looking good so far. So this is only the first grit so far. Yeah, we're just getting to that time where we're heading into winter. Or autumny into winter. We don't get much winter here though, really. I'm in Queensland, which is sort of subtropics. We really, I mean, I think the coldest it's been in a long time was just the other night actually, and we got down to 7 degrees at night time, which is, you know, really unusual for this time of the year. But yeah, we get a couple of cold snaps, and then that's about it. That's all we get. Some of the other states can get it quite cool. Yeah, up here in Queensland we don't get, I mean, it's funny because we don't get it cold, but you do feel the cold more because we get really hot in the summer as well. So It's funny how you acclimatise, but yeah, I don't really care for the cold. I much prefer the heat than the cold. Although with the medication I'm on nowadays, it plays havoc with me because it makes my body run a couple of degrees hotter. So in the summer I don't handle it as well as I used to. -15, yeah. Coming from Scotland originally, I mean, I know what the cold is. We used to get it pretty cold back there. But it's one thing I didn't miss, but it's beautiful seeing snow, I mean, all that sort of thing in the countryside and seeing it all white. It's absolutely glorious, it's beautiful, but I don't like the cold. Okay, that's that one. Got the next grit. Have we still got music? Or the music stopped? Yeah, well, the same. We're going to warm up over the next few days too, Reza. It's just we've had just a couple of days of, well, a couple of nights cold snap. I mean, through the day it's still beautiful. But yeah, a cold snap, like I said, 7 degrees, and that's been the coolest it's been in a long, long time. So it's not too bad. My wife and I moved to Australia back in 1982, so we've been here a fair few years now. Both our boys were born here. My youngest son is in the Australian Navy. He drops in the stream every now and again. That's Ryan. And my oldest son, he's in logistics, and they both live down in Sydney now. So every now and again we get to go down to Sydney for a few days, and we catch up with them. More so around about Christmas, New Year time. My youngest son in the Navy, sometimes he gets up, he has annual leave, and sometimes makes it back up to Queensland to catch up with a lot of his mates, his old mates. So, but we don't get much of a chance to see our oldest son, so that's why we go down to Sydney normally, Christmas, New Year. And we have the wife and I have a bit of a holiday in Sydney and catch up with the boys and that at the same time. Okay, I think that'll do with the sanding papers. I might get the 1000 grit on it now. So I've got some fresh water here. So I'm going to throw some fresh water around. Slow it right up. I'm trying to remember the colours I used in this casting. I'd have to go back and probably re-watch the video. I get the video again just to see what colours I mixed in it. I think what's happened is that the colours that I did use, I think they've actually mixed and made their own colours in this blank. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing it all polished up, because I think it's going to be quite an interesting blank. An interesting handle actually. That's what happened the other night, Razor, when it dropped out the music, and because of that bad connection with the microphone cable, that was why you had all that noise. If the music had kept playing, there probably wouldn't have been any noise, but it was just the fact that the music had stopped playing, and obviously the bad connection at the same time, so it sort of snowballed the effect, made it worse, you know. But I think I've got that fixed now. I don't think you should have any issues with the cable now. So we shouldn't get that static, bad heartbeat noise anymore. Now that we've got the right cable. Well, the other cable was right. It was just it was a bit. I think it was a bit too small as well. this looks really interesting, aye. This is going to be an absolute stunner. And it has got a little bit of a woody look to it now that I see it more, but I think it's going to change once it gets polished. It's going to really pop out, I think. There's a lot of clear in it mixed in with the colour, so yeah, it's just got so much clear in it. It's just really nice. And that was the effect that I went out to get when I cast this blank, but like I said, to keep the colour separation and to try and stop the colours mixing in with the clear, I had to pour it at the last minute, and of course I left it go too long and the resin started to gel as I was pouring out the cup. So that's why it went in lumpy, and that's why I had some of those air pocket defects in it. But I was hoping I could get a handle on it, because I had a sneaking suspicion the blank was going to be a lovely looking blank. And I still have the other one here that was cast at the same time as this one, which was done with clear as well, but it had blue and gold mixed in it. And that one's going to look stunning as well, but that one turned out perfectly with regards to the colour separation, the mix, and it had no pockets of air or anything like that in it either. So that one's going to turn out nice straight off the bat, whereas this one's just taken a little bit of work to get it there, but not a lot, and it's certainly going to be worth the effort. Yeah, it's good that you can do that though, Grey Dog. It's good that you can actually, you know, you've got a lathe there and you can actually play around with it and change the shine. Yeah, there's shapes that work and there's shapes that just don't work, aye. Oh, okay, so we're holding you up from having your shave, are we? Oh man, this just looks awesome. It really does. Once this is shining, oh boy, this is just going to pop right out. That clear is just going to, whew. The sanding's the killer, Razor. Shaping, you know, I don't mind the shaping part with the tools, and it's the sanding part that I don't like, but I must admit, I do like the end result when you see it and it's absolutely gleaming, you know, because if you miss anything out, you end up with lines and scratches, and so it's nice when you get it just spot on and things just flawless, you know. Boy, this is going to be one nice handle, I can tell you. Right, let me have my last of my cold coffee. And I think I've done enough with the wet and dry. Now I'm just going to give it a bit of a rub with the soft touch pads just to take it to the next level. Ryan, hey mate, how you doing? Yeah, you missed half the show. Normally 7 o'clock I start, mate. I was starting earlier, but I think it's better for everybody. It lets them get their dinner and settle in, and we can catch Grey Dog early in the morning, and he's in America. What have you been up to, buddy? What have you been up to today? Man, I'm hanging out to see those blanks that are in the, those castings that are in the pressure pot. I'm hanging out to see them. Oh, if they turn out like how I'm hoping they turn out, man. They're going to be two really nice looking blanks, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Now I'm saving them till the end once I get this finished. Then I'll have to release the pressure and open the pot up, and we can have a look and see what kind of mess we've made. Right, I'm just going to rub this one with the pad as well, just by hand. Boy oh boy, this is stunning. I think he's gone away and left us again, Razor. Drops in, says good day. Oh, what night's it? What night's this? Is this Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night. You'll be watching the footy. Grey Dog, I think we're actually, I did make him one a long time ago when I first started making brushes, and I made him and his brother one, but I think we're going to cast and make Ryan a new one the next time he's up here. We're going to do it in the workshop whilst he's here, so that'll be good for him to see that, and maybe we'll even get a live stream and get him on the live stream with me making it. We'll see how we go, aye. Yeah, footy tonight. That's it. He'll be dropping in and out with the footy and keeping an eye on me. And he's some lad. So I'm just working my way through the pads, guys, and then we've got a couple more to go yet, and then we'll be parting it off. We'll set up the bottom, put a coin in it. Decisions, antique brass or antique silver. I think it'll look good with either or, actually, to be honest, but it might look better with the antique brass. We'll see when we get it finished, I think. Yeah, you might go camera shy on me, Razor. You might not come on. That's alright. Yes, I'm liking this, mate. I'm liking this one. Right, I'll get rid of that for now. We'll give it a little dry off. Let me give this a blow. Alright. Yeah, I think the antique brass will be the winner, I think. Okay, let me take this off the truck now. Now I don't want to tighten this one up too tight because I've gone fairly thin on the top section as well. It's not too bad. I mean, it needs to be tight enough that the chuck's going to hold it, but I don't want to anything can go wrong at this point in time with this handle the way it's been. So whilst that's in there, it's okay. It's when I pan it off that it will be more susceptible. That hopefully will be good. It's a little bit out of round, so yeah, it's a little bit out of round, and it's not quite gone on as good as I would like it to go on. Might have to stay like that though, I think, because I think the more I play around with it, the worse I'll make it. Grade on both my lathes. This is a small one. This is it's a Vic mark. They're made here in Australia, but they're sold all over the world. I know there's quite a lot of American turners have got Vic mark lathes as well. They're very good lace. This one's what they call the VL150, variable speed up to 3000 RPMs. My big one over the other side, just over the side here, that's a VL300, but that's got like a 2.5 metre long bed on it, and it can take up to a 600 diameter over the bed. But I also have an outboard turning off the end of it as well, so then I can go even bigger than that if I wanted to, but not that I ever will, or will ever have the need to, but I can if I want to. It's a little bit out of round, so I'm just going to have to be very, very careful here, guys. The material is harder, so I am having to press a bit harder, which I don't like having to do. So I'm just going to get it round first, and then I'll just nibble away. And hopefully it'll hold up. up for me, and hopefully we've got no defects in the bottom. There we go, we've got it. And there is defects in the bottom, but I think they'll be drilled out anyway, so should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. So now we'll change that over for the 25mm fuss and a bit. So that's what we're going to be putting in the bottom. But first of all, I'll just clean up the bottom. Hopefully there will give me enough. Oh look, it must be grizzled. Oh, it's resin. That must have been resin when I was doing the castings today. I've dropped resin over my handle. Not to worry. It'll come off with a little bit of methylated spirits. Now I've got it on my fingers. Not to worry. Let's carry on. Oh, it's sticky though. Ah. Actually, I might wipe it off now, guys, if you don't mind, because if I don't wipe it off, I'm going to end up getting everywhere. If I can get the worst of them off, I can clean that later. That'll do. Right, hopefully we can just nibble away at this and hollow it out without it coming off the chuck. Still got a bit on it, should be okay. If I go to there, you'll see what I'm doing. So all I'm doing is putting my little hollow in the bottom before I start to go in with a bit to take out for the coin. should do it. Take that out the way. Now we'll slow it down. Excuse me. What I'm going to do is set that on 0 again and bring it in until it just bottoms out in the hollow at the bottom of the handle, so just there, and then from there I'm going to go in 4mm. Which is there. Take that out, give it a little blow out. Okay, so that should be that. Now just give it a little bit of a sandpaper. All good there. Okay, we'll go a little bit of wet and dry now. That's going to do that. So we don't need to go through the other sanding with this now. It's that's enough, because there's only a very small rim round the bottom of this handle now, because I've had to shape the bottom in more. So I've got about a couple of mil around, which will be around the outside of the coin, or the medallion, whatever you want to call it. That's very nice, it's lovely. So get rid of that wet cloth, put a couple of things away. Don't let me forget to show you these blanks in the pressure pot place, because I really want to share them with you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out. Now I'm just going to take this over to the buffer and give it a little bit of a buff, so you'll just have to chill to the music for a little while. I won't be too long, because this is pretty much, there's no sanding marks or anything in this. Which camera I'm on? I'm in this camera here. There's no sanding marks or anything in that as it comes off the lathe. So it's only going to be a buff just to basically polish, and then I'll bring it back and put a little bit of finishing polish on it here as well, just to finish, and then we'll glue the coin in, glue the knot in, and then we're done. So I'll just turn the volume up on the music a little bit, and you just can chill to the music. Okay, I'm back. Ronnie, how are you, buddy? I don't think the camera's not going to show you the clear in this. There's so much clear in it, you can actually look inside the brush. It's unbelievable. It's one of those ones that I don't think the camera's going to do it justice. Even in a photograph I don't think you're going to see it, but it's got so many big pockets of clear in there where you can actually look in behind the colours. Anyway, let's keep soldiering on. Better put the glue side up. Oh, just dropped my mixing stick. So, there we have it. We'll get the antique. I think I'm going to go the antique silver. I think the antique silver is actually going to suit it better. So change at the last minute. And I think it'll be worth it because to me it definitely looks better. Right, a little bit of epoxy. This is 5-minute epoxy. I'm just going to my usual trick and just rough up the bottom of the knot before I mix the hardener in there. So that's ready to go. Now I can't remember if that was part A or part B. Can somebody, oh no. I better mix up more because I don't know whether that was part A or part B I mixed in there. So I'll mix up another batch so I definitely know. So part A, part B, probably too much. That'll do, that'll get us going. Okay, so a little bit in for the coin here. Just going to push a bit out to the edges. good cover. That should be more than enough. I'm just going to take a little bit out of there. And push the coin in. Spread the glue. We've got a little bit of overspill, so we'll get clean cloth, a little bit of metal. Get that excess out of there. Like that. And then we'll put the rest on the knot and in the knot. Put a little bit on the bottom of the knot. Music's probably a little bit loud still, eh? That should be better. Now I'm just going to just let that sit there for a tick. Coin's okay in the bottom. Can't see any overspill now. Just going to give my hands a little bit of a wipe as well, just to make sure I've got none on my hands that I'm going to take onto the brush. And then I'm going to just check the coin again, make sure there's nothing else come out. Pardon me. Get rid of that now because that's so there we have it. With one brush, finito completo. Now I'll just put the lid back on that, put that away, and then I'm going to bring out those two castings. Hopefully they've cured. Like I said, it's been a lot colder here today, so I'm hoping that it's not impacted on the resin taking longer to go off, because the pressure pots are normally cooler inside anyway with the compressed air. So let me go to camera one. Yeah, so the compressed air in the pressure pots normally keeps it cooler. So I'm just hoping with the colder air that we've had here today, the colder temperature, that it's not impacted on the cure time on the castings. I would think by now though it should have gone off. If it hasn't gone off, it should be almost close to being there, so it would just be a case that, you know, the pressure's not going to do much more for it now anyway. So I'm just going to get rid of a few things and then we'll pull those, we'll release the pressure in the pot. I'll maybe turn that camera around so you can see what I'm doing. And hopefully you'll get to see them as I do, and I'll show you that brush up a little bit closer. I'm very pleased with how this brush has turned out. I wish you could see it. It's just a shame that the camera's not picking up how much clear is in this and how much depth in the handle. It's just awesome. It really is awesome. I'm really pleased with it. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't give it a bit of a polish up with my polish, but it really doesn't need it. When you see that, oh, you can't really see it too well from there, but get it onto one of the other cameras, you'll see it. But anyway, let's just, what I might do is I might turn that camera there over to there, because that's where the pressure pot is. It's a little bit skew with, but you get the gist. Pressure pot's just sitting over there on the side of my planer there, so I can take the lid off and we can have a look at these blanks. Now let me just put you onto the right camera, so we'll go into camera 3 and we'll cut to there. Alright, we'll release the air then, guys. We're in the right shot there, so hopefully you'll get to see it as soon as it comes out, and hopefully they've worked okay. So we'll release the pressure. Wait until the pressure's completely gone. We wouldn't be able to undo the screws on it anyway without the pressure being completely out of the pot. The pressure just tightens it too tight, you just wouldn't be able to turn them anyway, but once it's gone, it's all good. Fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. I did have a bit of spillage when I was putting them in here too, so we could have a little bit of an issue there as well, but hopefully not. And I think we're lucky enough that we yeah, we had a spill, so they've kind of stuck. It's kind of stuck to the bottom of this. I'm going to have to get a chisel or something in there to pry it apart, unfortunately. There's so much resin on the bottom. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen. And the blank's gone out of shape a bit. I don't know why that's happened. I don't think these core flute ones are going to stand the test of time, but this one certainly will. So we've got two castings here, which I cast earlier today. Now I'll go to the other shot now. So we'll go back to camera 2. So you can see the castings I've got here, two different moulds. You can see this one's gone out of shape a bit. Hopefully it won't matter too much. Hopefully I can turn that out. But anyway, I'm going to try and break the core flute out now. We didn't have any leaks in these ones this time, but oh jeez, Holy guacamole. I put a bit more hot melt glue on them this time and didn't get any leaks, but when I put it into the pot I spilt some, and that's what's caused the issue. Everything's just stuck in the bottom of the pressure pot. But if I can get these off, which it's coming, hopefully I can still, oh jeez, hopefully I can still turn it into a blank, into a handle, I mean. And this was the one that I done with the, this one was done with the stabilised burl. So this will be my next test trial one, to see how it bonds. Yeah, it's a bit out of whack, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to save that actually, because it'd be too small by the time I take it back. We'll see how we go. We'll try it anyway. I'm going to persevere with it. But this one's got what's called halo inside it. It's actually clear. It's actually clear, but it's got gold and champagne halo in it, which is a new one that I brought in from America. So that sort of sparkly, glittery effect gives you sort of like a halo-y type effect inside the clear. And of course we've got the piece of burl embedded in there as well. And that was, as you can see, it's a lot darker. That was the stabilised that we done with the resin. So the timber's been stabilised. But I think because it's gone out of shape severely, I don't know if I'll get a full handle width out of that. So that'll be a bit of a suck and see. But even if I just turn it into a cylinder, that'll let me see how that's going to work. And then obviously when I do it the next time, I'll do it in this pot, in this mould. And this is a mould that I made last night and brought it into the shed today, but I'll show you that one. I'm going to take the screws out and we're going to demould that one as well, and I'll show you that one. So just bear with me till I go and get my screwdriver. We'll take a few screws out and we'll pop that one out the mould. This is the one I'm looking forward to, because I think this is going to be quite nice. Now I cut this out on the table saw last night, and it's basically just screwed together. There's no sealant or anything put in it. I planed all the edges and put the boards through the HDPE through my thicknesser as well, which has got a spiral head cutter on it. So it's made the edges and the surfaces very, very smooth. So hopefully the blank should pop out fairly easy once I start separating it. I might have to take the whole thing apart, but it's only screws, and the screws can go back in again once the mould's out, once the resin's out, the casting. Yeah, this is a real heavy duty mould, this one. I wanted this one to last. So it's got plenty screws and plenty. Actually, I should mark it before I start taking it too far apart as well. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just put a couple of dimples in the top with my countersink bit. So I'll just go one, and then I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll put 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll put just so that I put it back the same way it's come apart. That'll do that. Now, so we'll take the rest of these screws out and then we're just going to knock this apart. This is going to be a nice one, I reckon. She's built like an armoured truck, but she didn't leak and she had no sealant on her. So if it makes it easier and quicker, I'm all for that. And it doesn't take much to, you know, spread it apart like I'm doing. So there we go, there's the base off. There's one side off. I thought it may have come apart easier than that, but not to worry. There's another side, there's another end, and there's the other end. Okay, so what we've got in this one is the cameras are not picking it up, but the resin was clear resin, but I put all these different tints and smoky tints through it. So there's blue, there's red, there's orange, there's lime green, there's dark green, all through this blank. But for some reason the camera's not picking it up properly. I don't know if you can see that. No, can't really see it. You can see some of the smoky tints, the darker coloured ones you can see there. I mean, I can see the green and red and blue and through there. It's not a lot. Maybe the next time I might make them a little bit stronger and have more of them. But again, this will make a nice handle, I reckon. So this will be another one for a live stream, I guess. You know, we'll see how it turns out. Should be quite nice, and I do have a piece here that I might even make a top for it, because this has got colours in it as well, and it's kind of transparent with green and dark green, and there's a bit of blue and that in there as well. So I might machine the top of this and machine this, and I might bond that to that, and that might make the top part for a handle, and obviously the bottom part will be this clear with the coloured spirals in it. I reckon that might look quite nice, so that may be another handle. Anyway, we'll play around with that. So I'm fairly pleased with that. It's a shame that that other one's got a little bit warped and twisted, but I might still be able to salvage it and get something out of it. If not, yeah, we'll soon find out. I'll have to have a play with it, turn it round, see what I'm left with, and if it's too small for a shaving brush handle, I might be able to make it a handle for something else. But the exercise of this one is to make sure that the resin bonds to the burl, and if I get a really good strong bond with that, then I'm comfortable that casting the resin to a stabilised blank is going to be nice and solid and rigid to take the denser knots, and then we can move on from there. I've got a couple of other trials that I need to trial before I'm convinced that everything's good, but hopefully we'll get there. But yeah, the colour and the halo in that is, I mean, you never see these until they're actually polished up, but the halo in that is quite nice, and it's transparent. It's not like a glitter, it's just, it's like really, really fine glitter, like really fine. It's more halo, that's why it's called halo, I guess. And the burl's in there as well, but again, once it's turned and shaped, you'd see it better. But anyway, that's that one, that's that one. So I'm pleased that mould's turned out very well, actually. You can see the sides are nice and smooth on the mould. I must have had a bit of air or hot melt glue. Oh no, that didn't have anything on it. I don't know why we've got this in here. It's like there's been air. It's like there's been air trapped in there or something. So I mean, the pressure should really get that out, but it's not going to impact on the blank anyway. The blanks, I've got plenty blank there for a handle, and yeah. So guys, that's about it for tonight. I've got a bit of cleaning up to do now, so I'll have to chip all that excess resin off that HDPE. Again, thanks for coming in, guys, much appreciated. Let me go to the other screen. Much appreciated, guys, thanks for coming in. Without yous, you know, it would be pointless me streaming here. I'd get kind of bored doing it and talking to myself. So thanks for dropping in, guys. For those that come in late, I hope you have seen something. For the guys that have been through the whole stream, thanks for your support, thanks for being there. That was the resin one that we done, that I done earlier today, and that was it before it was stabilised. You can see the difference in them. It's like chalk and cheese. This one's really heavy, this one's quite light. So that's had the resin in it for over a week. So hopefully it's all good. Anyway, guys, let me just check the chat, make sure I haven't missed anything. What's this about blue tint? Yep, stabilised burl, Rami. Yeah, I done a brush fairly recently with the blue tint. It actually sold the other day, and the fella's got it now. He got it today. He's wrapped with it. It was a clear and blue tint. Well, actually, it was clear with blue spirals in it, with a very light blue tint in the clay. Turned out to be a beautiful brush, actually. Yeah, Grey Dog, I should be able to do something. I'm just a bit concerned that it's just the shape of it. It's bulged out on this side, but it's bulged. Well, actually, it's hard to show you. That's the original size that it should have been all the way up, but the blank's sort of gone well out of shape. I should still be able to turn it, I think, hopefully, but I'll just have to see. It might end up too small and round. I might have to actually make the moulds bigger, because they're not actually coming out quite square. That's about 43. See, it's 45 the other way, so there's a couple of mil difference one way to the other, but I can change that. The molds are easy enough. Just that's the core flute, but I'm now a little bit concerned that the core flute, when it's put under pressure, it might not, and obviously the amount of heat that the resin generates when it's curing too. I'm a little bit concerned now that the core flute's maybe going to be a bad choice. So I think I do have more of this HDPE material, but I'd need to machine it all so it's nice and clean and smooth. I might do that, and I might make a few more molds like that, because they're never going to fail me, those ones. They'll always be good, and the blank that you get out of them is always going to be, you know, square. Yeah, the air in here has been a bit of an issue here and here as well, but the blank is always going to be square. As you can see, it's nice and square all round. So that'll go in the chuck, no problems, and then turn round. I might even do it on the metal lathe first, and then bring it to the wood lathe. But anyway, guys, that's it. There's the two castings from earlier today. I think both of them are going to make an interesting handle. The mould worked well. I'm pleased with that. All I've got to do now is just go around it and just scrape any excess resin off, which should come off this material nice and easy. There, it's already coming off just with rubbing them together. So that'll be good. These will stay clean for much longer. I'll get much more use out of these. Yeah, there, see, I mean, it's just coming off. So I'm pleased with that. I might just have to make more of these ones, though, that's all. So anyway, guys, I think that's enough for tonight. I'm going to shut the door down, shut up the workshop, and come back in tomorrow, clean it all up, and it will just be perfect for you again for the next stream. So we're at Thursday now, so probably Saturday night I'll do another stream. I'll try in between now and then get a couple of things ready, so we've got something else to turn. I might even turn one of these ones if I can get them the way I want them. I might even do one of these in the stream. So you'll get the preview if you click the bell down below. Click that bell. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. If I can just go to that one, I know I've sort of been on easy about it, but yeah, if you can just subscribe down here, and if you also click the little bell down there as well, it will remind you when I go live, so it will let you know about any up and coming videos. So just make sure you click the bell, and if you haven't liked the channel, like the channel, be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely great. Okay, so I think that's about me done. I'll just check the chat and see if there's any questions, and then I'll close us down and let you all go on and get on with the rest of your night. Grey Dog, thanks for dropping in again, mate, all the way from the US. Good to have you back in the channel, mate. Alright guys, time to go. Thanks again. We'll see you next time, eh? Let me just get my end screen up now, guys, and we're done and dusted. See you guys. Woohoo! Thank you. See you next time, eh? Couple of nights' time. Saturday night. Cheers.
you.